Hello, hi class. My name is Victoria, and we are working on chapter one. The question that I chose to make a video on is what are the steps in a typical decision-making process? Use an example to illustrate it. So, according to the slides and research that I did online, there are four steps in a typical decision-making process, which is one, identifying the problems and causes, two, collecting data to help understand the problem, three, developing solutions, and four, lastly, making a decision. So, about the first step, identifying the problems and causes. This step is very important because to figure out what the situation is, you need to understand what the problem is, which is kind of common sense. The second one is collecting data to help understand the problem. So you need to understand what is relevant and what is not relevant because you don't want to use information and collect data from like surveys, souvenirs, observations. You don't want to collect data that you don't need and you don't want to waste time. The third one is developing solutions, so figuring out what can be fixed and what can't be fixed. The last one is making decisions, so figuring out what you're going to do to resolve the issue, and you make sure you're putting a plan in place to implement this decision. So an example that I'm going to do is me working on campus at the Center for Community Involvement. It is a tutoring center, and many of the students were not improving their grades. So I am the manager, so I am the person who manages the center, manages the grades, manages the contact with the tutor and the student. So the students were improving their grades, so what we did is that was the problem. The step two is what I did was I collected data. So what we did is we tried to figure out what the problem was. It was because tutors were not focusing on trying to help them what they were learning in class, but more on workbooks that our center gave out. So tutors were not helping kids with their homework and issues that they were having problems with, and that's a reason why their grades weren't raising, but they were using our workbooks instead. Which is not wrong, but we usually use the workbooks when the children don't have anything to do. The second step that is in the process of decision making is collecting data to help understand what the problem is. So we collected report cards so that we could check for grade changes at the beginning of the semester and at the end of the semester, and we made sure that we emailed the teachers to see what needed to be changed, what we could do to help the students as a tutor. The step three is developing solutions. What we did was give the tutors training on how to tutor children more on subjects that they needed help with instead of just working on workbooks and trying to make sure that they understand what they're learning in class also. And then lastly, making a decision. So what we did was we made sure that all the students that were struggling with their grades at tutoring and not really learning anything that is relevant to their classroom, we made sure that we conducted observations. We made sure we got in contact with the teachers so that we were able to give weekly or monthly updates. Thank you.